All right. Well, welcome to Health Second Opinion. Dr. Chad McDill here. Wanted to touch base with you here about heart health. And as you can see, I'm not in my normal environment. Things don't always go the way that we planned. And so for Father's Day, on the way to do something healthy for my heart, some family time and hanging out with my dad. We got sidetracked, and here we are sitting at Discount Tire and getting my flat tire changed. And yeah, so realized, just hadn't really put anything out here about the heart health workshop coming up June 27th. That's Monday, where we're going to do the in-depth heart health workshop and be about a 45-minute workshop there, 6:30 at night at the chiropractic care there in Trenton, Georgia, 4580 Highway 136. So it's at 6:30 at night. Just here we go. We can if you want to be there, you can text heart to that number, and we'll save you a seat. But one of the things that it really brought up by this little thing that I'm going through here with being stuck on the side of the road and then limped our way into here is is that what a lot of heart health has to do with not wanting to do, or actually being willing to do, what we don't want to. And we have forgotten just how much our lives have become inundated with the doing what we want and having things fast and having things easy. And we've gone through generations now where it's just about being easy and convenient and fast, and everything packaged and processed and right at our fingertips. And so we begin to think that wrongfully so, that we are able to actually have heart health easily. I mean, it's like I'm sitting here in this, and I hope you can probably hear the background noise going on, that I'm in a parking lot with the windows down, sweating it out, waiting to get my tires changed. And such is life. But heart health is not easy, but it's a lot easier than having a heart attack and having a lot of heart muscle die and maybe being bedridden or disabled, or having or dying, leaving your family to be alone and possibly very compromised in their financial future, not to mention the love and life lost and how that affects your children. And so we've got to get over this. That's the first step of heart health, is just being willing to do what's necessary to obtain what is possible in our lives. And so, I mean, that has to be the focus. And with that thought process, we can dive into some of the nuts and the bolts of heart health. But I really think that it's that over lying fast food feature, fast health feature that people are expecting, that creates an unhealthy expectation for any aspect of our health, not just to mention our hearts. But here we have this organ that's approximately the size of your fist. So let's see if I can get that. There you go. Mine's approximately the size of my fist, and it's gonna pump on average 100,000 times a day, and it's gonna pump all the blood through my body constantly, whether I'm alive or awake or asleep. And it's doing this for us constantly. And yet the amazement of that, and just like the amazement of all the rest of the aspects of our health, it's going on. And we have to honor the fact that there isn't anything simple in the body. And the first thing is the mindset switch, that it has to be that you want it. And then it has to be that you're willing to do what's necessary. And then the last part of this mindset switch is that there's never going to be a pill, a lotion, or a potion, or a supplement, or a video, or a virtual that will provide you the heart health that you and your family deserve, that is easy. So once we accept that mindset and we say, then it's like, okay, well, maybe it is going to be hard. Well, it's like everything else in life that's worthwhile. There's something hard about it. There's maybe it's the information, maybe it's the school, maybe it's the going and working out, maybe all the aspects, whatever it takes to get anything in life. But with heart health, we must accept this. And that is probably the greatest defeating thing. And one of the things that so many people get stuck with, and I'll give you the biggest example, one of the biggest lies as far as heart health is concerned. So many people are running around today and they think, well, yeah, I had some high cholesterol, blood pressure's been high, but my doctor gave me medication. And now that I'm taking it, my blood pressure's better. It's normal, quote unquote. And it is also my cholesterol is, quote, normal. And so I'm okay. My heart health's good. I'm good. I can rest easy. And that's the mentality that is allowed to be given and accepted. And people believe this because that seems to be where the doctors leave them. Well, the fact is that's a huge lie. The process that created the cholesterol problem, that created the blood pressure problem, that is creating the heart disease is still going on. Maybe the parameters that are being utilized to measure the heart health are being, managed, but it allows that mentality. It's actually the most dangerous mentality because it allows people to continue on with their lives thinking that everything's okay while things are getting worse. So they don't change what actually created the problem, which is their lifestyle. Just like 90% of disease is lifestyle related, so is heart disease. And so when we accept these things and we begin to change our mindset, we become willing to do what is necessary to fix the lifestyle that created it in the first place. And, whoever said that things were going to be easy and that we shouldn't have to, when did hard become a dirty word? When did hard become a bad word? Tough. One of the biggest things, I don't feel like working out all the time, but yet drive by my office most days, and I'm either in the parking lot working out or I'm at the Four Fields playing basketball or working out there in the grass because it's easier for me to run on and with my 48 going on 30-year-old knees. And whoever said that, drinking a smoothie or eating yogurt and berries and trail mix for breakfast was going to be always tasty and always great and all of these things. When did, come on, processed food and fries and chicken wings and burgers and all these things, they're super tasty. I love them too. But the fact is that they're not what provide me the nutrition, the exercise, and the detoxification to reduce the inflammation that is coursing through our bodies if we live that lifestyle. And so I love the shirts that I see at our Max Living conferences quite often, which are phrases like "embrace the suck" or "tough is great," and all kinds of these other little phrases that we see on shirts because again, it is constantly inundating me with reminders to just do it, to be okay with the fact that it's not going to be easy. And so, first of all, if you are one of those people who are running around with bad cholesterol and high blood pressure and all these things, and you're managing it with drugs, in all reality, you're going faster down the pathway to death and disease and heart disease and failure than you were if you were to leave it and address the lifestyle factors. And so here we go. Number one, that mindset. Embrace it. You're worth it. Your family's worth it. You have time for it. Otherwise, you're going to have time to be sitting in a hospital bed, dying early and leaving your family. So if this wasp that I'm seeing flying around comes into this car with me, you're going to see me move really fast out of here, but hopefully it will not find its way into the car. And if I scream loudly and run, that's because I got stung. Anyway, back to this. Number one, let's talk about that we need exercise, and the American Heart Association will tell you 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and moderate physical activity. And well, that'll check a box, but it's not optimal. For where you're at, one of the biggest things, I think the easiest way is to go to maxt3.com and to look at that, sign on, and then have it on your computer or your phone and follow along at whatever level you're at, so that Dr. Fred Roberto can give you the time, type, and tempo, max T, time, type, tempo 3, and of exercise that will optimize your body's metabolism and reduce one of the most important hormones to be managed during in all aspects of inflammation, but in heart health, is cortisol. And so when cortisol is high, it negatively affects insulin function. It's our long-term stress hormone. So, you get scared at night. Cortisol is the longer accelerate your heart rate, dilate your eyes, elevate your blood pressure, elevate clotting factors and cholesterol and platelets and things like that in a second's notice, so that your body, if wounded, will heal. But when cortisol is left high in the body due to chronic stress in our fast-paced lifestyles and in our inflammatory responses from poor lifestyle, then we are left with these elevated levels that negatively affect blood pressure, cholesterol, platelets. It negatively affects our insulin and things like this. So when you exercise in this method that's taught on Max T3, in which a lot of people are now accepting and understanding. This is why all your CrossFit gyms are popular now. It's why your boot camps and things like that get such great results. It's because they're exercising you near your 90%, if not there or higher. And you're cyclically going in and out of that in this very paced, like Max T3, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, repeatedly with whole body motion that allows you to coordinate and have better balance and utilize your whole body just like you did when you were a kid, when you were playing. So if that doesn't suit you, then get outside and play with your kids. Get outside and play sports. Get outside and do things that are both fast and fun and have variance in their activity. If you're a walker, pick a spot when you're out walking and go as hard as you can up the hill. Get completely gassed where you have to slow back down, and then slow down, get your heart rate back down, and then go at it again. Always do your activity within your parameters of where you are right now for your age and your current health. And so be honoring of that, because it's a long-term thing. This is the indefinite games, right? The games we play that don't have an defined end. So the more that you incorporate this, the longer you push that. We all have an end coming. But what is going to be the quality and quantity of our life is dependent upon the things that we're talking about right now, one being exercise. And so pick your thing: cycling, playing soccer, throwing the football with your kids, anything. Make it those where you're revving up and cooling down, revving up and calming down. And doing that for at least 15 minutes, 5 days a week, is going to be very optimal and help manage the stress hormone cortisol, which will positively affect your blood pressure and also all of the other hormones in your body that are related to the inflammatory responses that, when left unchecked, maintain these elevated blood levels. Now, next thing is I think is a starting point of knowing your blood levels, of cholesterol and your inflammatory markers and your triglycerides, your blood sugar and things like this. And normal range is about almost useless, because there's optimal ranges that we should all want to be at. And just like there's a normal range for your weight, but there's an optimal range for your weight. Just like a great example is vitamin D. Vitamin D, the normal range is somewhere 30 to 100. But the fact is that at 30, milligrams or nanograms per deciliter, then you're virtually avoiding no disease except for osteo or rickets, I should say. Um, but when you're up near 80 and you're staying in that range, now you're avoiding a lot of diseases, and vitamin D is in its optimal range. And then it's helping you with your avoid osteoporosis and all of these other things. So the blood levels, um, HDL and LDL are going to be better at near a 1-to-1. And so if optimal is 150 in your total cholesterol, but the ratio of HDL to LDL is huge. So somebody who has an HDL of say 25 and then an LDL of 125, they still have normal cholesterol, but their ratio is way off. And so there is no such thing as bad cholesterol. It's not LDL's bad, HDL's good. They both serve a purpose. LDL is the lipoprotein that circulates things from the liver out to the body to be processed and delivered to different parts of the body. HDL is the recycling portion of blood protein that takes fat soluble molecules like those triglycerides or other things that are not water soluble, like vitamin A, D, E, and K. They're all fat soluble, so they're wrapped in fat, typically triglycerides, being transported by or LDL to a body part, being taken when they're utilized and damaged or just need to be recycled by the liver. Then HDL is what takes them back. And that's why you want that ratio so equal. But then when we get into it at the workshop, we're going to get into the different types of HDL and the different types of LDL so that you can further read into your blood work. But that's just the basics of this concept that doctors, unfortunately, aren't taking enough time to discuss with their patients. And it's a real tragedy because the doctor within you is the doctor that's always on the job. Your innate intelligence is always trying to optimize your body's function for the quality and quantity and the regeneration of your body. And so giving it its optimal environment from that, like I said, optimal exercise is going to help just that. It's going to optimize your body instead of just trying to survive. So I think then understanding your triglycerides and your cholesterol and those blood levels and managing those is the next step. And because most people have had the blood work, they've never really had anybody go in depth with it to them. And we're really going to touch into that, the types during the workshop there on, it's going to be on a Monday, June 27th, 6:30 there at Chiropractic Care in Trenton. Next thing, we have to accept the fact that there is a difference between organic nutrition, low glycemic index. Fruits and vegetables need to be the staple, the 80% of our nutrition. Then our lean quality, organic, free range or grass fed, all animals wild, as wild as they can be, as close to their natural state, so that they're happy, healthy animals and they're fit animals within their, their whatever they are, is going to be huge, along with the returning wasp. So, oops. Then we're going to so getting into the nutrition. That's the general thing is that the more processed food that you eat and the more packaged food that you eat, the more inflammation you're going to have in your body. The more sugar is the biggest culprit. I mean, I know it's hard. It's like, oh my gosh, anybody over the age of 40 is like, I'm sick of the way the polar swings of the world and what's good nutrition and who am I to believe is just a big question. And it just, we've gone from low fat now to low carb. And the fact is that it really should be natural state. Probably one of the better ways out there. The best is utilizing the advanced plan out of the Max Living book, Align Your Health, or the starter sets, is going to be your best bet. And then the core plan is the way that you can eat all the time to live beautifully and naturally and healthily. And so you can go to maxliving.com and look at those and get the descriptions, or the Align Your Health book can be ordered on Amazon. But the next one is probably the paleo. I really think that in general, those parameters, except for a lot of people will swing to mostly bacon and, it's meat. It's, we're supposed to eat, we're the paleo, we hunter gatherers, and they'll rely too much on a lot of bad animal products that again will be toxic animal products, which will lead to inflammation. And that inflammation is in the cardiovascular system, the transport system that is delivering the nutrients and the oxygen to every organ and tissue of the body. And so we want good quality nutrition. That's just a minimum standard. So the biggest thing that people can do is really just try to get rid of the processed food. So here we were broke down, and kids were going crazy, and thankfully blessed to have somebody come by, a family member come by and pick them up, take them onto the pool, and get started with Father's Day while father sits here and does this, which is the role I need to play and right now, because it's not what I want to do, but it's what's necessary. And sometimes what necessary. But for our snack to stabilize the blood sugars, it was Granny Smith apples and nuts and seeds, and that's what we had, and that's what we pack. And fast food is already prepackaged the way God intended it, and it's apples and oranges and grapefruits and pears and all the things. Buying your stuff and processing it to the point where it's ready to be eaten is often a big thing. So for us, it's about the purchasing of and washing and cleaning and storing and storage containers that maintain a little water in the bottom. Great things that then it's all there, and you just grab it, build your salad, and which of course I don't exactly enjoy eating a salad. I most of the time do. Sometimes would rather a burger, but the fact is that we should really be eating a couple salads a day and more lean meat. One of the things, wild caught fish, there's been studies done that we'll give you the citations for at the workshop, that show that people who eat 3 servings of wild caught fish a week cut their risk of heart disease by 50%. That's a pretty significant number. And so with just that thought, adding that into the wild caught fish into our nutrition is an important role. And it can be seasonally done, and worst case scenario, you have to get it frozen. And canned tuna really no more than once a week, really, and it's due to its high mercury content and the BPA linings that line those cans that are toxic to us and cancer causing, inflammatory. So minimize those. So those are that's basics right there, that if you just incorporated those things, you are going to slash your risk. Now, of course, getting rid of some of the bad habits, excess alcohol consumption, smoking, and things like this, I think I often glaze over them because I feel like they're things that people automatically and already know. But the more things that we stack in our lives that are the negatives, the less we should expect to have health. And so cutting out the habits and adding in the new habits in as little as 6 days, even the lungs start to recover. The risks of cancer go down, and literally in 6 days. Because remember, all of your blood, all your living red blood cells are going to be brand new in 120 days. And so every 120 days, your new health habits will yield results that are being delivered through the cardiovascular system to every organ and tissue in your body for a new you. And this new you will happen every 120 days from a blood standpoint, remembering that your liver, reminding you that, hey, Alan Brown, one of our patients that made the switch finally, and did the advanced plan until his liver was reversing his stage 4 liver failure, got off of the transplant list by changing his lifestyle and exercising for 15 minutes after about a half an hour to an hour after every meal to maintain his blood sugar spikes from going up as high. He was able to get off all his diabetes medication, able to get off all his cholesterol medication, able to get off all his blood pressure medication, which then he was losing 60 pounds. He lost 60 pounds. And then now his body has been able to create and decrease the size of his liver. And now he's in stage 2 liver failure, on his way to being no liver failure. And in his 60s, unfortunately, his MD, I remind everyone, says it's the first person he's ever seen do it. I personally don't want to be going to the guy who has never seen it done when we should expect it to be the way of it when it's possible for everyone. That's why I think the magic of being under Max Living Chiropractic Care is something that every person needs, deserves. And if we create these, inundate ourselves, just like we should with being in fellowship. We're actually leaving church camp on our way to the Father's Day thing and pick the kids up. It was a beautiful experience for them. And just like we surround ourselves with church camp, and we nurture our spiritual selves, the healthier people that we hang out with, the better we're going to be, and our lifestyles will change. Remembering that we are the average of the 5 people that we hang out with the most. So are they the health that you want? Are they the vibrant, optimal people that they could be, or are they not? With these thoughts of mindset, exercise, and just the nuggets, the nuts and the bolts, remember, you can do it. You are worth the effort, and you're worth the effort to show up at 6:30 at night on the 27th of June, Monday night, 6:30, here at 4580 Highway 136 in Trenton for the Health Guard It Well workshop. Text HEART to 657-4777, 706-657-4777, and we'll save you a seat. Make sure you let us know how many that you're bringing with you. And most importantly, invite the people you love and the people who you know you want to keep with you. Look forward to seeing you back here on Health a Second Opinion.